Hello and welcome back, everybody. This is Mystic Canes. Pleasure to be with you all again. I was going to do a long play, but my sound, I finally just fixed it with my new PC here. I've also been having issues with my external hard drive, so instead of actually doing a long play today, we're going to just talk a little bit about the Hippogriff clan. They are very powerful. They are 7 out of 9 stars for, out of development, military, and support. And we're just going to kind of go through the list like we normally do before a long play, and then I'm going to discuss it, because I have played them quite a bit at this point. If you guys like Kingdom clans, I would recommend buying them. I have a couple gripes with them that I hope might change in the future, but I could argue that they're strong enough where they don't need to be changed. I think that quality-wise, it would make them more fun, and that's why I'm going to bring them up. So they are strongly a development clan, and then they have about even military and support capabilities. I think they're overall just a good clan. So they have access to a furnace. The furnace is a very interesting mechanic. We'll talk about a little bit down the line. Livability cannot be increased for this clan. I disagree with this slightly. I do think that in the future that Shiro should consider allowing you to upgrade the territory for 100 crowns to give them one more livability at least. I think that would be a nice little bonus to the clan. It would make them a little bit more fun to play, I think. I don't think it would be too strong either. Houses and town hall upgrades can handle less villagers. Houses cannot be upgraded, is mentioned down before, so they need to change that tooltip. Just get rid of the houses there. Houses are there for food population, and that is it. Taverns are there for happiness, and that's it. Most middle ages clans, but Kingdom clans use taverns and houses to increase livability. Because you can't with this clan, their usefulness is, just the base usefulness of what they are. Again, I think livability should be controlled by upgrading the zone, and you should get an additional 1 for 100 crowns. Sindri, as a war chief, can mine outside and inside your territory. He is super good. He's only 150 crowns to get. Being able to mine outside of your territory is obviously super helpful. You can clear a neutral monster and then start mining that territory while you own territory that you can defend with mines that you may not want to worry about until later. They need both iron and stone equally, which is very rare. I'm generally a stone fan, but this clan, I will say, they did a very good job on the fact that they require both of the materials. I would argue a little bit more heavy than the other clans. Furnaces get a furnace keeper that increases their production, like essentially gives them a ability. The furnace keeper is free and does not cost livability. That is important to remember. So your furnace keeper will not cost livability. Furnaces also require two types of production to actually function properly. So if you have a zone where you're fishing, we'll say, and then you would have to build either a monastery for faith, you would have to either build a lumber mill or gold to actually make the furnace actually function properly with the food. So you have to pick one of the 4 things. You need at least 2 of the 4. So that's probably confusing the way I just explained that, but you'll get it once you play very quickly. The furnace will not function until you have 2 types of production. So that's good to know. And that's another reason why I would argue that livability should be at least increased by 1 with the territory upgrade. So you can have a little bit more choice other than a 2-2 split or a 3-1 split or something like that. The Varangian Guards are awesome unit. They're a stronger shield blocker guard or shield bearer guard for the normal clans. You can get some really cool upgrades with the Kingdom clans and throw them on them as well. If you add some defense to them, they're extremely hard to kill. Super good unit. You're mostly going to be running them most likely with Sindri, and that will probably be your combat build. Sindri at 500 fame gains forges faster, and each military unit gains 5% attack defense, 5% attack and defense per military upgrade. Again, generally, once you get this, you're going to have Sindri go back to his forge, and you're going to have him just pound out relics and then give them to the guards here above, and just increase their attack and defense even more. And then once you're done forging really quick, you'll go into combat generally. So that's what makes them a really good combat. Once you get to 500 fame, Sindri can just bust out forging pretty much, and then you can make your guards even stronger than they already were, and you can go into combat and pretty much dominate. The Southern Artifice is a catapult. That's their special relic. Once you build it, it does cost 200 lumber. It has a 1 minute fire time and a 1 minute... once you fire the catapult, it takes you 1 minute to actually retreat with the catapult. I would argue the catapult could probably be lowered to a 30%. You pretty much cut the attack speed in half and give it auto fire, and I think it would be fine. I don't think it's too broken. Generally, as a player, what you're going to do against another player is you're going to set the catapult up, immediately fire, have your army there, and then you're going to rush the tile. The issue with this construct is that the enemy has visibility on the map in the later game, so unless you rush this catapult, you're generally never going to get full usage, because once you fire and you go to attack, either the enemy is going to see you coming with a catapult and try to counter you, or you're going to fire the catapult and then run into their territory, and unless you're micromanaging, you're not going to fire the catapult again. That's why my argument for the catapult is make it a 30-second cooldown and have it auto-fire once you pick a territory. So once you fire the territory, you send your troops in, the catapult will then have 30 seconds and should auto-fire again. Right now it's set up that you have to click on it every time, and it takes 60 seconds. So you're generally going to use it in its current state, fire it into the enemy territory, and then run in and attack. Another thing that I would recommend for the catapult is that you add maybe a 50% damage buff against neutral creatures such as wolves, foxes, wyverns, dragons, giants, kobolds, whatever you want to call them, neutral enemies and neutral factions, so that you can actually siege the neutral factions and then send your army in to clean up the territories. With the lower attack speed, I actually think that would be a way to use the catapult other than just attacking the enemy. So I think the catapult's useful, but I think in its current state with the 60-second fire rate and the cooldown and then actually targeting the zone, it's just not that strong. It also has limited use. So as of right now, I'll repeat myself one more time. It's pretty much fire the catapult, send your troops in, and then hope that that gave you enough of an advantage so that you will win the combat. For the tech tree, you have Furnace Mastery, which is your furnaces don't take up a building slot, and there's reduced wood cost for specialized workers in the zones. When you ignite it, it goes to 50%. The wood reduction is fine, but the furnace not taking a building slot is fine as well. Because of the livability situation currently with this clan, I don't think this is super necessary. It is nice to have early on, but it becomes obsolete with the building slot because you just shouldn't matter. Fan the flames, you gain 5 fame per active furnace, and the moment ignite starts, ignite will be 25% longer. So essentially when you start your feast, which is igniting the furnaces, it lasts longer, and you get some additional fame. Ignite activates all bonuses from your currently active furnaces, so essentially it gives you double bonus. Kindling Spark is the next furnace is free. This is great in the beginning of the game because you get you an early furnace. Furnaces do cost steel or iron, so they are they're not cheap, but they're not expensive either. So getting one free is nice. And then you have Ember of Prosperity. Every time you build a furnace, which you should be building a furnace on almost every zone, you get additional gold for free, and then when you ignite them, you get double that gold. And then you also get upgraded production buildings, get a 10% production. Normally, as I said earlier in the video, you're going to always have a furnace with 2 different types of production, so each of those productions would get a 10% bonus. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got to talk about with the clan. I do think the clan's very strong. I think Sindri and the guards alone make the clan very good. I think the furnaces and the catapult could use some adjustment, and I think it would make the clan a little bit more enjoyable. But overall, very good clan. It is fun. I just think those changes would make them more fun. Which, at the end of the day, obviously there has to be some sort of balance as well, but we're all in this game to have a good time. So, alright, I will catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully my sound worked well on this, because it's been messing up. Later, guys.